We're here with Vinnie Paul. How are you today?
I am fantastic, and it's damn good to be back.
Can you remember the first time you arrived here and what you kind of dreamed about Australia before you got here?
Our manager at the time when I was in Pantera said, hey, your record just went gold in Australia, and they want you guys to come tour down there. We're like, Australia, where's that? When we came down here, it was incredible, man. I mean, it was like the Beatles. I mean, it was insane. We would pull into the airport, and there would be, 1,000 people there waiting on us, and they treated us so good, man. And it was always, every band I've ever been here with, I've always had a great time. We played the arena there in Sydney, and there's a 20-foot chain link fence out behind the venue where the band and everybody comes out when they leave. And there was 500 people climbed up on that fence, and that whole fence was swaying. Like,
that's so excellent.
Chanting the band's name and going crazy. And right up to the very end, the fans were always there for us.
You're kind of in a rhythm of life now,
Oh, things are good. Yeah. I had to go through the most horrific tragedy of my life and find a way to put it back together and learn how to carry on my own. And I'm living for both of us. I feel like Dime's with me every day, everywhere I go. And he inspires me to keep going, man. He would kick my ass if I didn't do it,
Well, that's kind of the vibe. Like, you've got good vibes, like, coming off you, and that's kind of like that. Like, for me, that was like JFK moment.
So many people, not only with his guitar, but through his personality and who he was. And, that was his bottom line. He wanted to make people happy. It didn't matter how he did it. He just got off on making people happy, putting a smile on their face, and kicking their ass, too. He liked that, too, man. He never let up, He never really took a minute for himself. It was always about other people.
Favorite stories he ever told me, like, went into this, like, when I might have been on Ozfest, where they had these kind of, like, after parties. They're kind of VIP or whatever. So it's this, like, big after party, and there's, like, 800 or 900 people in this, like, after party thing just hanging out, and he just walks in, and everybody's just kind of sitting around, drinking or whatever, and he just literally was like, shots for everybody, and bought a shot for everybody in there. It cost him $3,500 to buy a shot for everybody, but it wasn't about the money. It was about making people smile, and like, get off your ass and let's drink. What are you doing? This is supposed to be a party,
And he would, you guys are both pretty, special. Do you think you kind of pushed each other? You and Dime,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Let's
do good music. It's cool.
I was the right arm, he was the left arm, I was the business guy, he was the wild and crazy guy, the party, So you put the two together and you got a pretty brilliant mind going there, And so, we fed off each other on everything we did. Any decisions that we made, anything that had to do with the band or anything, we never made a decision without consulting the other one, It was put the two heads together and figure it out.
What did your dad sort of teach you about music? Because he was like a music producer and musician as well, right? Yeah?
Yep. He just was, he wanted to keep an eye on us and make sure that our musicianship level was up to par. He really strived on, especially with my brother, as far as phrasings, bending notes, tuning, things that a lot of musicians overlook, Do
you remember what the first show you ever went to was?
I ever went to? Yeah, it was Sammy Hagar in Boston.
Yeah? Was it?
1978, man. It was incredible. It blew my mind. I was 14 years old. I bought all the concert shirts, wore them, to school the next day. And from that point on, I was hooked on hard rock, heavy metal music. And the next show I went to was Thin Lizzy and, Nazareth.
It quickly escalated.
Yeah. And then it was Alice Cooper, Legs Diamonds, and the Babies. And went on from there, man.
Do you listen to much new music?
My favorite thing that's come out in a while, and it's kind of an oddball thing, Crosses by Chino.
Yeah.
I love that CD. That's, I have some electric stuff that I listen to when I fly and sleep and stuff, and that's the number one I have now, man. I love that CD.
It's moody, hey.
It's just a mood music.
Do you remember the first time you heard AC/DC?
Oh, Lord. I don't know if I remember the first time I ever heard them, but I know I loved them from that point on. It was amazing and always is amazing. And as a matter of fact, I'm such a fan, when I get home on September 9th, I'm only going to have a couple days, and then I'm flying to Chicago to see AC/DC at Wrigley Field.
For real?
Yes, because I did not want to miss them on this tour, man. And the only one I've ever had a chance to meet and gotten to know is Brian, and he's amazing.
How did you guys meet?
We met at the Hard Rock in Orlando. He apparently moved to Orlando some years ago, and they had a grand opening, and he was there, and we got to meet and hang out, and we've done several shows together, which was always great, but that was really the first time we ever really get to hang out and kind of get to know each other.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like the Texas and Australia kind of vibes. We've got we're straight up people, like
Australia. I tell people back home, you know what Australia is like? One big Texas. People like to drink, they like to barbecue, and they like their heavy metal loud, and they love to have a good time. Back in the day, all the way back to 1988, 89, when we wrote Cowboys from Hell, the whole idea behind that song was the fact that we were from Texas, and we were outcasts. We were totally different from everything else. Everything else at that time was coming from L.A., New York, and then Seattle had just come on the scene. And with what we do today, with today's current music and everything that's out there, we're once again kind of in that outlaw, outcast position in a weird way, where we just kind of stick out like a sore thumb, but it's 100% hell yeah. You can't deny it. That's what we do.
You've created like several chapters of music history.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty rad.
If you look back through it all, you got Pantera, you got Damageplan, Rebel Meets Rebel, which we did with David Allan Coe, and then of course Hellyeah. So it's a pretty good catalog to be a part of, and I'm happy I was part of all of it.
And do you see Hellyeah as like your till the end, ride or die kind of band now, or?
Oh man, since it started, I
It's fun.
To myself that I hope this is the last band I'm ever in, because like we said before, it is a marriage, and it is a struggle, and it is a fight, and I love playing music. Everybody in this band loves playing music, and we put everything we have into it. We got 4 records now. We're almost closing in on 10 years of legacy.
That's crazy.
With our next record, we'll have 5. That's all Pantera ever had, was 5 studio records. So for us to be building a second legacy and to be moving on from the other bands that we were part of is real special for us.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to going in and making the 5th record, man. We're really excited.
What's the vibes like? Yeah.
The vibe's gonna be.
The last one was angry.
Yeah.
Chad was really. It was angry.
In this mode, it's going to be a continuation.
Beast mode.
It's just going to be a continuation of Blood for Blood, except maybe bigger, faster, harder, louder. It's going to stay very heavy, very aggressive.
Excellent. Well, it's good to stay heavy and aggressive.
That's what we're all about. And then we're going to take about 2 weeks off and go right back into the studio and start working on this 5th record.
That's excellent.
And then all of 2016, world tour again, and we'll definitely be back.